For anyone in need of a visual palate cleanser after having to endure another wicked-washed week, the scheduling gods have blessed us with the sequel to Sisu, Road to Revenge. So if you have no interest in a butterfly and rainbow-filled musical glorifying a wicked villain, you can instead spend your time watching a blood-covered former Finnish commando turbo-flipping a tank over a barricaded Soviet checkpoint. Yes, Sisu Road to Revenge is a manly, over-the-top action movie whose only goal is to tell a simple, thrilling story of vengeance and perseverance, and to entertain you along the way. There's no need for the main character to be troubled by some internal moral conflict or some shoehorned romance subplot. There's no need for the man to even talk in this movie, and he doesn't. This is one of two movies coming out over the next few weeks that I was able to screen months ago, and I'd been very much looking forward to seeing the final cut of this one. Sisu, I am told, is an untranslatable Finnish word that means a kind of white-knuckled courage, an unstoppable strength of will that drives someone. And Korpi, the man who refuses to die at the center of this movie, embodies that term throughout the course of Road to Revenge, fighting through torture, the Russian army, and over broken glass toward his noble goal. And after watching this movie, I had one thought more prominent than all the others. This Sisu sequel shines a blinding light on many of Hollywood's failures. On a budget of just over $12 million, they produced a very good, very entertaining film, especially when compared to the $200 million turds Hollywood regularly plops out. We didn't have to wait 5 years for a sequel, and they also, to some degree at least, strove for historical realism, rather than casting Queen Latifah as a Finnish commando or Awkwafina as a Soviet-Russian general. They may bend the rules of plausible physics from time to time, but it's all in service of producing an entertaining tale, and on that front, they passed with flying colors. And we'll talk a bit more about how a $12 million movie succeeded where the rest of Hollywood regularly fails after we get in a recap of the movie. So we're pulling up to a spoiler checkpoint. You've been warned. Picking up in former Finnish territory in 1946, just after the end of World War II, the immortal Korpi, the man who refuses to die, fresh off kicking Nazi ass and securing his bag, returns to his family home where he once lived with his now deceased wife and 2 boys. The man responsible for their deaths, Igor Dragunov, is freed from a Russian prison for one purpose: bring Korpi in. Meanwhile, Korpi disassembles his former family home, intent on moving the lumber back into Finnish territory so he can rebuild it. But he runs into a commie checkpoint along the way and has to shoot his way out, pursued by Dragunov, which leads to an awesome Mad Max-style road combat set piece. When things aren't going the Ruskies' way, they stop playing around and send in some jets to carpet bomb the road, forcing Korpi's truck off and plunging into the ocean, along with the lumber to his family's home. Korpi is able to release the lumber as the truck is sinking, however, and when it all floats back up, he builds a raft out of it and makes it to shore, where he comes across an old tank and a new idea. Korpi rolls up to the next commie checkpoint in the tank, with the lumber loaded onto it, and uses explosives to flip the mother-flippin' tank over the barricade. But, as one would expect when blowing up your own tank and flipping it 30 feet in the air and back down, Korpi is injured and he gets captured. Aboard a train heading back toward Russian territory, Korpi is tortured and whipped with a live wire. But he frees himself, kills his torturer, and makes his way up the train through a gauntlet of sleeping soldiers and broken glass. But just before the end, everyone wakes up and he ends up having to blow thousands of rounds into the Ruskies anyway. Also on the train, Dragunov betrays and kills the Russian generals aboard that would now dispose of him, and he decouples the engine from the rest of the train, leaving Korpi behind. But, ever resourceful, Korpi ignites a massive rocket loaded onto one of the cars and uses it to catch up to the rest of the train. There, a fistfight of epic manly proportions ensues, and before long, things look bleak for Korpi. But at the last moment, he unleashes the rocket which blasts into Dragunov and explodes. The man who refuses to die refuses to do so once again, and he gathers his lumber and returns home to Finland, where he gets to work re-erecting his family home, getting a helping hand with this erection from some of the villagers. The end. What a bloody good time. The man is just a bloody ball by the end of this movie, most of which is his own. And that's just emblematic of the kind of masculine, gritty, over-the-top action movie that Road to Revenge is. To be honest, it's a film made in the kind of style that I thought the new Running Man might or should have aimed to emulate. Korpi is a man on a noble mission who cannot stop and will not be stopped. He's still pained over the loss of his family and wants nothing more than to bring some remnant, some reminder of his family back to Finland with him. No checkpoint, no Russian battalion, not even the ravenous Russian general who killed his family will stop him from accomplishing this. The man doesn't say a word throughout this movie. He doesn't have to. He doesn't have anything to say to these animals hunting him. And he knows violence is the only language they understand. It's the kind of simple thing that keeps the film focused on its main story and distinguishes it from some of the other meandering messes Hollywood's stale formula has been producing. It's a short movie, clocking in around 90 minutes, but it's an action-packed 90 minutes that feels significantly longer than its runtime. And yeah, there are plenty of cheesy, implausible action sequences throughout, but who doesn't like a little cheese? And any excess of cheese is offset by some great set pieces, chief amongst them the Road Warrior style set piece. And underneath that cheesy, outrageous, exaggerative action, there are deeper themes of loss, revenge, and perseverance. Simple, core themes that the movie never strays away from down some dead-end subplot. And just like its predecessor, it was all brought to life with some great camera work. Above all else, Road to Revenge is just entertaining, and that's the name of the game after all. But it's kinda sad that we seemingly have to turn to an international movie from Finnish filmmakers just to get the kind of unabashedly masculine action film that Hollywood was almost oversaturated with not that long ago when I was a kid. And all this off a $12 million budget. Oh, how times have changed. Sisu, the original and this solid sequel, continue to put Hollywood to shame. And though it may be a Finnish film series, with the first one kicking Nazi ass and the second one following up with a roundhouse to the Russians, Sisu undoubtedly has carved out a home in America. At the time of this writing, it's still too early for hard numbers on audience ratings, but I feel pretty confident that the movie won't disappoint people. With Sisu's great action, its simple yet hyper-focused story, and just for its entertainment factor, Road to Revenge earns the Great Watch label, and I'd give it about an 8. So if this sounds like the kind of movie that might tickle that masculine itch, and I'm not talking about the kind behind your nuts, then I think Sisu Road to Revenge is worth your time. When I saw this movie screened 5 months ago, they were still workshopping the subtitle of this film. If I remember correctly, the options they wanted us to rate were Road to Revenge, Bloody Road Home, Vengeance, and Grit and Glory. And while Road to Revenge certainly captures what this story is about, I personally still would have preferred the title Sisu Vengeance, which was my choice at the time. I just think it's punchier and sounds less gimmicky. But that's one of the few things I would have changed here, because Sisu Road to Revenge is a bloody good time. Just before we go, I posted a video yesterday covering a fan theory I came up with for The Office. And YouTube's algorithm is extremely punishing if you push any kind of video to your subscribers that doesn't fit pretty squarely in the box they've pigeonholed your channel into. Meaning if you're subscribed to the channel, that fan theory video wasn't pushed out to your subscriber feed. So if you have any interest in a video like that, head over to the channel and check it out. But getting back to Sisu, did you or are you planning to check out Road to Revenge? What did you think about the first movie? Do you think Sisu is putting the rest of the industry to shame? Let us know in the comments below. And remember to like the video if you liked it, and subscribe to Hatewatchers for reviews of other current shows and movies. Thank you for kicking some Ruski rear end with us today, and I'll catch you on the next one.